telling us. Now, just as we're about to go for a break, the P2 leader comes into the pit lane. This is Mike Newton at the wheel of the 25 RML Lola, back with the AER engine this year, and I think that might be a tad early. I don't want to hex them, but we'll keep an eye on it. It looks fairly routine at the moment.
I think it's all right. It's done 239. We just do the quick subtraction and we come at 239 laps. That's perfect.
Right, okay. Paul Trustwell says it's fine to be in.
When you're enjoying yourself, time goes more quickly, and the stints seem to sort of flow through. See, that's why people do double stints and triple stints, because they're just enjoying it. So you're on a good roll, John. And so is this battle in the Aston Martins as well, because Jan Magnussen is lapping
a couple of seconds a lap that time.
I was just wondering which word to use to describe it, because it's not every time, but it's often.
Yeah.
It's often.
It's more than once in a while.
And that's enabled him to bring down the gap to 2 minutes and 17 seconds. The 3 minutes gap, which you mentioned, is when the pit stops get out of sync. Because every so often the one car comes in and the other one hasn't, and then the gap goes out. But then the pit stops even themselves out, and it usually happens sort of on an hourly basis. There's a 10-minute section where the gap is 3 minutes, and then the rest of the time it's 2.5. But because of Magnussen's pace, he's brought it down to 2:17.
Quick pit stop for Nicolas Minassian in the 11th place overall. Pescarolo as the RML Lola rejoins. We'll take a short break from the action here on Speed TV. You're listening to the overnight coverage, the Insomniacs coverage, if you like, with Radio Le Mans, live across the world.
FM 91.2 at the circuit, Sky Channel 0157, and across the world on the web. Radio Le Mans with Evo Magazine, race tuned.
Good morning, it's John Hindhaugh and the rest of the Radio Le Mans team in the pit lane. We've got Graham Tyler and Joe Bradley, American Le Mans Series stalwarts, up here with me in the tribune as the 62 Aston Martin comes into its pit stall. Graham Goodwin, the assistant editor of dailysportscar.com, the first place for sports cars on the web, the Bible, if you like, and of course no Radio Le Mans. No, Le Mans, in fact, would be correct and complete without Paul Trustwell, who's just in the little cabine to my left. And thank you very much to Robin Goodman, who has supplied Mr. Trustwell through the evening hours and has just brought breakfast up, courtesy of one of the teams in the pit lane, RML.
And I'm very grateful, I must say. If the trouble is, I kind of get involved in the race, and then I don't want to go away and do something else, and I end up not eating, and then I die, which is not good for anybody.
Please don't do that.
No.
Not at least for another 9 hours and about 30 minutes. 7 hours and 38 minutes, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't die before the finish. But I still can't see the Pescarolos. They just can't get reliably underneath that 340. It's kind of like whatever we do, we can't do it. And Montani can, but he's a Formula One driver. The others, and they're not bad drivers. I mean, you know, Sebastian Loeb, World Rally Champion, he knows what he's doing. And I think there may be water in this tyre theory, that they just can't get the tyres to work for them, or the conditions are changing so much that the tyres themselves are changing over the stint. That's my theory, at least. Because
were they saying that the tyres were underheated or overheated?
Actually, they were not wearing enough. They were. It was Eric Ellery who said he came in after doing a triple stint, and it looked like he hadn't used the tyres at all. Right.
So the chassis and the setup isn't working the tyres enough to give the car some mechanical grip.
Yeah, it depends who you blame. Do you blame the chassis or do you blame the tyre? They chose the wrong tyre, which didn't get itself up. You know.
Chicken and egg, yeah, chassis and tyre.
But whatever happens, the mixture isn't there. And as I say, it seems that they can't adjust quickly enough, or the tyre itself is changing. But you know, on pace, they just can't stay with the Audi, and you know, that gap was down to a lap and a half at some very early hour this morning. But it's gone out again, and that was with the problem that we saw for the number 8, where they had to spend that extra 3 minutes taking the nose off to get the lights to work properly.
Yeah, that was Marco Werner's start of Marco Werner's stint when he was stopped by the man at the end of the pit lane. as the French Girl Guides deliver us our hourly updates.
And in a sense, I'm glad they did, because he stood there and Werner stopped. What we had last year was a potentially very dangerous situation. Fevers were running high.
Oh, they were.
And the fact that the car had been running for quite a lot of the race with only one headlight hadn't helped. I think that was the first time that it wasn't on. And the organisers got there straight away, said, no, that's it. And the team reacted to it. And I think that worked okay.
I think that's good on both sides, to be quite honest.
Absolutely.
Now, here at Le Mans, it's not only about what's happening on the circuit as we watch the Scuderia Ecos Ferrari 430 now with that recalcitrant wheel sorted out. We had a chisel being used to great effect on that earlier on, which just made us all wince. Let's go down in the pit lane and find out what else has been going on in the last 15 minutes or so. And we'll start off with Graham Tyler, who's at the pit out end of pit lane, which is the Audi, Saleen, Ferrari, and a whole load of Lola. I think he said bunch there. Did you see? I just pulled away from that, Mr. Tyler.
I'm proud of it.
A whole load of Lolas, the Chamberlain Synergy guys, and of course the Aston Martins and the RMLs. What's happening at your neck of the woods, Graham?
Well, what's just happened is that we've had a pit stop from the car you opened with, which was the Scuderia Ecos 430 GTC Ferrari, the number 87 car. Chris Niarchos has taken the car into the pits and back out again, so he's double stinting, as are his tyres, because it was a fuel-only stop. Other than that, it's all very serene up here. We've got a few pit lane garages closed, but amongst those are still open, you said already, are the ones for the Audis, and happily standing on the Audi perimeter of his garage, where I can probably have a quick word with him, is Dindo Capello. So we'll grab a quick word with him while we can, because these guys are sometimes hard to get hold of, and I'd like to find out if there is still a problem. Dindo, hi, good morning. We've seen Alan doing the double stint, but the times don't seem as quick as the 8 car.
Sorry?
We've seen Alan doing a double stint. His lap times don't seem as quick as in the 8 car. As in the number 8 car, it seems quicker.
Yeah, but I think, okay, I didn't follow too much the lap time because I was sleeping, but I've seen Alan was quick at the beginning on fresh rubber, and then really I don't know, but really depends so much on the traffic, because there are sometimes 5 seconds between laps just due to the traffic, and sometimes you get in a very bad how do you say, in some very bad lap, and then it's very easy to lose 3, 4, 5 seconds per lap. Sometimes you get 3, 4 free lap, and then the lap time drop again.
There's no question that there's still some legacy from the accident earlier where the car had to be repaired.
Before, you mean at 8 o'clock? That was, I think, a turbocharger. They had to change the turbocharger, and but at that time I was sleeping, and I didn't follow too much. And
earlier in the night you had to have the under tray fixed. You don't believe there's any mishandling because of that accident earlier on?
Yeah, that was okay, because then I drove later. I did triple stint in the night, and the car was fine, no problem. The car was fast, and I think what they did, it worked. We had no problem after that. I think at the moment, you know, we are also in a position that I don't know if it makes sense to push so hard. Anyway, we are 7 or 10 laps from the second place, and that's it.
Thanks, Dindo. A certain amount of resignation in the voice there, John.
Yes, you can hear it there, can't you? The 53 Lamborghini just being shown on screen with a number of its earlier mishaps, and we did have that car sideways a couple of times through the chicane. A couple of emails coming in. studio@radiolemans.com, by the way. Dina Jacobs, Carol Jacobs rather, says, can you give that website that you've just given out with the login details over the radio? Yeah, dailysportscar.com. Graham is the assistant editor. Now, if you haven't sampled dailysportscar.com, I'll tell you, it is a subscription website. However, we're going to give you a free offer here on Radio Le Mans. www.dailysportscar.com. All one word, all lowercase. Once you get onto the front page, click on headlines. That'll bring up a login box. use the name Radio Le Mans. That's RADIOLEMANS, Radio Le Mans, right? All lowercase, no gaps, and the password will be LM, that's Lima Mike 2006. Again, all lowercase and no gaps. So Radio Le Mans is the username, LM2006. And there's going to be some great competitions on there next week, rather, because the guys are busy repatriating things from various teams, some signed gear, and what's more, the information itself is well worth picking up. It'll be absolutely free for all of our listeners, and thanks very much to the guys of Daily Sports Car for that. Now we'll just have a quick look through some of the emails while Paul prepares himself for the update, which is coming up in about a minute. Adam Cunliffe in Virginia, hello there. What prompted the rule about no wheel spin coming out the pit box? Well, the ACO don't like it. There's a few drivers who are still doing it, and having said that, the Audis don't seem to need to. But you try to get out of a pit box with 850 newton meters of torque going through your back wheels, and there will be a little chirrup now and again. Now, here's the one that Graham Tyler will understand. Consider this signature number 1 on the Let's Keep Ron Fellows Racing petition. This from Adam Campbell in Florida. He says he's one of the great drivers of all time. Sorry, Adam Campbell is in Portland, should I say. So thanks very much for coming in. And please keep the stuff coming in, says Paul Clark. He's in the US as well, watching us on Speed at the moment. And hello to Dan Davies, who is listening from Kumho Tyres in the USA. You guys are doing very, very well indeed. Now, let's, just before we do the update, go down to Graham Tyler in the pit lane. Graham?
Yeah, just a quick routine stop for another ALMS former runner, certainly.
Yeah, just one race for these guys this year.
Just one race this year so far, and here we are at Le Mans. The Asemco Motorsport Celine carrying number 66 for Le Mans this year. Johnny Molam it is at the wheel. The screen has been cleaned. They want to hook some stuff out of the radiators before they let it go, but in the meantime the fuel has just finished, so now they can get rid of that rubber debris, the pickup from the radiator grills, which is so important to clear out, because otherwise the airflow to the engine gets disturbed and we end up with all sorts of overheating problems. Johnny fires the 7 litre up and away he goes.
And just to prove it's not just the US listening at the moment, Nathaniel Cook. Hello, Nate. How are you this morning? Late in the day for you, of course, listening in Auckland, New Zealand. He said, I thought the diesel-powered Audis would be able to go longer than the petrol cars, but I guess not. Well, actually, they are by a good couple of laps, at least 2 laps, certainly on the Pescarolos. More from the race in a moment. We'll get back to the action live, but before that, let's go to Paul Truswell, who has the latest and the hourly update from Audi.
Radio Le Mans with Evo Magazine. Race tuned.
The hourly updates are brought to you by Audi, celebrating 25 years of Quattro.
With 16 hours, 31 minutes, very nearly 32 minutes of the 2006 Le Mans gone, it's still that Audi number 8 of Marco Werner which leads the way. 261 laps now on the board, and he is just over 2 laps ahead of the number 17 Pescarolo, which has been chasing him for some time and is still in second place. Sebastian Loeb, the driver at the moment, 8:17 in positions 1 and 2. Third is the number 7 Audi. Alan McNish is still 10 laps behind and is pushing on hard, but I think there's still a little bit in that car, and they're just taking it easy to get to the finish. Fourth place for the fastest GT1 runner, 009, the Aston Martin Stefan Ortelli leading the way, and he's so near to a podium. 245 laps completed by him, and the Corvette of Jan Magnussen, number 64, is still chasing, and they are trading times. They're so close, 0.3 of a second only separating the lap times on the last lap. It's still therefore pretty much what it was, 2 minutes and 19 seconds separating the first two in GT1. In 6th place is the fastest car in LMP2, 2, as it has been for, again, most of the race once it had settled down, and that's the number 25 MG Lola. Mike Newton is at the wheel, and that car's completed 242 laps. Ahead of the number 007 car, which is in 7th place. It's the 3rd car in the GT1 category, and it's the Aston Martin, the other works Aston Martin of Andrea Piccini, 240 laps. In 8th place is the number 72 GT1 Corvette, and that's done 238 laps. In 9th place, the number 62 Aston Martin, the Russian age car, 237 laps. And in 10th place, 63, the other Chevrolet Corvette, Ron Fellows at the wheel, 235 laps for that one. In GT2, the positions there are that the Porsche of the Cycle Motorsport team, Pierre Iret, still leads the way, and he's now got something of 6 laps of an advantage over the next Porsche in that class, which is the number 93 Team Taizan Advan class car of Kazuyuki Nishizawa, who is driving that car at the moment. In 3rd place, number 81, the Team LNT Paynos with Tom Kimber-Smith at the wheel, and that is less than 2 minutes now behind the Cycle Motorsport Porsche. So Tom Kimber-Smith doing everything he can to close down that gap, and it's entirely possible that he could do that before the end of this race. There's still 7 hours to go.
Audi. Vorsprung durch Technik.
Music, entertainment and race news. Radio Le Mans.
And it is just 25 minutes to 10 o'clock in the morning here in France. The Tom Christensen run of victories here at Le Sarthe looking to come to an end. There's a certain sense of resignation about TK. This is what he said to us earlier on.
I got woken up pretty early. Apparently, you know more about what happened with Dinder before. He was in earlier, and there was apparently contact with another car. And I was planning to go out and do a triple stint, but immediately I did one stint complete, but I had a lot of vibration, and I located that as the floor. There was no problem in the balance of the car, but every time I came more than 250, the car starts to shake a lot, so lose part of the underfloor, and this we for sure can't continue driving with. So there came a safety car, so they took the option to change it, and as you can see, it's not an easy part to change, and we lose a lot of time again.
That was Tom Christensen talking to us earlier on. At New Zealand, we spoke to a moment. Tonatua Mendoza is in Mexico. Thanks for keeping us on the other side of the ocean in touch with the action. Going to sleep soon. It would be good to hear it mentioned from Mexican fans before going to bed. Just did it. There you go. As the leader comes into the pit lane, and up at that end at the moment, as the number 8 car cuts its diesel engine, is Graham Tyler.
And Marco Werner joins me, coasting, as you say, silently up to the pit box, stopping bang on the marks, as you would hope he would. Manuel Pirro is in the back of the pit watching the TV screens, looking extraordinarily calm and collected about everything. A quick drink for Marco, and then the bottle is tossed aside. Fuel still going in, and remember, this is diesel fuel. We're making history at La Sarthe this year, and the number 8 car, for the moment anyway, looks like being the one to do it. Around goes the finger from the engineer, around goes the motor, and out goes Marco.
And sadly, out of the 50 Labra Competizione 550, Maranello is getting... Now, who was at the wheel of that? Is that Beppe? It's Jean-Luc Blanchimont, thank you. And that car was just getting slower and slower, and oh, smoke issuing from the back of that car. Thank you, Graham. And that is where the WR had its conflagration.
I thought that car had already retired. Could that possibly be a replay?
It may well be. Unfortunately. No, this is live.
Okay.
The car is Joe Bradley's down in that pit, and they are looking at the screens as we watch these live pictures. Joe?
Yes, indeed. The Labra team were indeed waiting for that car coming in, limping in it was. I've yet to establish exactly what the problem was, but those were true and live pictures. What you were witnessing there, the demise of the number 50 Ferrari of the Labra competition team, and disconsolate faces down here in the pit.
And Joe, that car was in the top 20, 19th position when it pulled up. John Marine in Houston, Texas says, I don't know if you've mentioned this on Radio Le Mans, but what do you think about the proposal for closed-top cars and also air conditioning? Well, we haven't got time to discuss that right now. However, store that one away, Mr. Trustwell, because it is something that we need to talk about as we watch the Bill Binney 24 Lola in the pit lane with its distinctive Saltire colour scheme, as the Mike Newton driven 25 RML Lola from Wellingborough, right in the centre of England, about as far away from the sea as you can get actually, in Northamptonshire, right in the middle of the carbon fibre triangle, although we're going to call that the carbon fibre diamond now, we've decided. It's more suitable for carbon fibre. And while we watch the owner of the car, Mike Newton, continuing to circulate, remind our speed viewers that we'll take a short break, literally just 60 seconds, and you're listening to Speed and Radio Le Mans together for 2006 at the Well, we welcome back our Speed TV viewers with the sound of a LS1 Corvette motor being fired up as the Luke Alfond Adventure 72 Corvette goes back into the fray. Mike Newton continues to lead in the P2 category, now up to 6th position. I was at the RML facility in Wellingborough the back end of the week before the race, and actually was there when they fired up the engine on the car before it went into the transporter. Superb amount of preparation that goes in to this car. Phil Barker and all the lads have worked tirelessly, not just racing here at Le Mans, of course, but also in the Le Mans series. Haven't had a lot of luck there yet this year. Got pitched into the wall at the start of the Istanbul race, and then spent the rest of the race fighting back, not helped by the fact that the organisers decided mid-race to cut it down from a 6-hour to a 4-hour race because they didn't have enough fuel there. Alan McNish aboard the 3rd place Audi, the number 7 car that he shares with multiple winner Tom Christensen and Dindo Capello, of course. 3 drivers who have won Le Mans before. McNish must feel he's due one. 1998 the last time he won here at the wheel of a Porsche in a GT1 Evo 911. That is blindingly quick through there. So we're on the onboard pictures with McNish. Ooh, a little bit of a twitch there as he came through the last parts of the Porsche curves. All about rhythm, he told me, the Porsche curves. You really need to get in sync with it. It is very quick indeed, and you don't even want to think about putting a wheel off. We've seen a number of big accidents down the years. Ask Mario Andretti. He knows all about going into the wall backwards in that part of the circuit. He's in our sight now. If I look to my right, I can see the car go through, and in fact he's gone underneath me without me noticing, because it's just a whoosh.
What you hear alongside the track is the tyres more than the engine. The tyres make so much noise on the track. Is that what you hear?
That and the air moving, and that's about it.
Yeah.
It is a very surreal sensation.
Did you ever see the Lotus Turbine Formula 1 car?
Not up close.
Well, see it racing, I mean.
No.
Because it's a similar sort of noise. You're not quite sure what to expect.
Sebastian Loeb, the current World Rally Champion for Citroën and leading the World Championship this year, has just brought the 2nd place car into the pit lane. Joe Bradley is at pit in.
Indeed, the current leader of the World Rally Championship is remaining at the wheel of the number 17 Pasquarolo. The car has just taken on fuel. It's about over. They're just cleaning out the air ducts. And that Judd V10 sounds, in my view, what a racing engine should sound like, and that's not decrying the Audi diesel at all.
In fairness though, Joe, they don't use a whole load of revs anymore to pull away. It is, all of these engines are obviously quite torquey, because that sounded, no disrespect to Sebastian Loeb, but that sounded like my mother pulling out of the pits there.
Absolutely, there seems to be this sort of sedate method of pulling away. Obviously, they don't want to overstress things like transmission, drive shafts, clutches, and so, you know, you just ease the car out. Let's see what's happening to the Bill Binney car with Grim Tyler.
Yeah, number 24, this is the Lola Zytek. Bill Binney's just taken the car over, just got in from Yujiro Terada, who's on his 26th appearance here at Le Mans. Probably, in my estimation, the most of any driver here this year. So Yujiro standing by looking rather anxious. Bill Binney is pumping away at the start button and it won't go. They've been pushing cold air under the engine, trying to get this starter to cool a bit, free it off. They're now throwing a bag of ice across, anything to try and cool down very hot components here. The cars have been running furiously since 5 o'clock yesterday, and there's just no movement in that starter engine at all. Immense frustration for Bill Binney sitting at the wheel of his own car there, John.
Yes.
And Jan Magnussen has done another good lap. He's put in a 3:51.864. The best he's done is a 3:51.851, and that's helped him bring the gap down between himself and Stefan Ortelli. It was 2 minutes 19 on the previous lap, and he's brought it down to 2 minutes 13 now. So Jan Magnussen in the Corvette number 64, still going as hard as he possibly can.
Now, I can tell you, you can't see this, but we've got a safety car out on the circuit as the Bill Binney cars rock backwards and forwards. The safety car is out, and McNish has just seen the boards as he comes up on the remaining privateer Aston, the 62 car, and...
Down. Indianapolis, oil down.
Oil down at Indianapolis is what we're being told. And... now, will everybody scramble to the pit lane? This is helping Bill Binney because he's only 4 laps ahead of the Intersport car. There are the marshals. That, Lawrence, I wonder if the oil is from the 76 Porsche, and I'm not psychic when I say that because Joe Bradley has a theory. Joseph, call you a detective butt.
Well, I've got a clue, you see. The number 76 IMSA Performance Porsche has come in, and it is absolutely coated in oil. It's restarted it. I'm not sure if this is the cause of the oil slick, but they're certainly leaving an oil slick down here in the pit lane. The car is covered in an oil slick, and it's all over the back end of the car from the engine compartment. Yes, they fired it up. They're now wheeling it back in to take a closer look and there's an absolute oil slick. It's like the Torrey Canyon down here in pit lane.
Or Exxon Valdez for those of you in the States. The new Audi TT, the new safety car. In fact, that car hasn't even been properly launched to the press yet. Has picked up Alan McNish in 3rd place. Now, depending on where the leader is, this could be a lap gained or a lap lost for these top guys. Charles Dressing is still on the phone from Jacksonville in the very early hours of the morning there. Charles, thank you for staying with us. Only 2 safety cars being used at Le Mans this year. Normally we have 3, but slightly less confusion this year with just the 2 Audis being utilised.
Well, I hope there's less confusion in this safety car period than there was in the first yesterday afternoon.
Oh, it was terrible, wasn't it?
I still don't understand what happened.
The best that we made of it, Charles, was that the Audi, fortunately the 2 Audi safety cars, one is an Audi TT, as in comes the 3rd place GT2 car, the LNT Penos. One of them is an RS4, brand new RS4, the other one is the new TT that you've just seen. And the TT picked up the leaders, and the RS4 picked up the rest of the field, as in comes the 64 Corvette. And it just seems as though the leaders were released long before the other train of cars, and they caught them up very, very quickly. Now we've also got an intervention car coming down the pit lane, which is a Peugeot 307 SW with amber lights on it. Now where is that going? Straight out of pit lane and onto the track. Maybe they're running out of oil dry round the far side. The lap here, Charles, is so long that I understand the need for multiple safety cars, but it's never been particularly satisfactory.
Well, I always thought, I'd never understood why you couldn't have just one safety car, although it would just take so long to collect the field. Other than that, I can't imagine what's wrong with having one safety car.
Yes, that's a good point, Charles. Now, the 3rd place GT2 car, we saw the bright orange LNT Peugeots go into the pit lane. It's now gone into its garage as Joe Bradley has a Pescarolo at pit in.
Yeah, I was hoping to make my way to L&T, but I got trapped in the media scrum down here at Pescarolo. Now this is the 16 car.
Behind the velvet rope with Joe Bradley.
Sorry, what was that?
Behind the velvet rope with Joe Bradley.
Indeed, yes, indeed, that'll be the day. Right now, in my environment, we've got the fuel going into the 16 car. It's Nicola Manassian is at the wheel of this car, I believe, and if that's the case, he's going to stay there. Just a bit of an observation, visual inspection at the rear end. It's Collard. Sorry, got the helmet right at the end. Yeah. It's Emmanuel Collard at the wheel of that car. He stayed in put. He didn't take on tyres, just fuel for that car, and I'm on my way to L&T to see what's happening there.
Graham Tyler has the GT1 field, or at least the ones that count in his area in the pit lane. Is one watching the other, Graham?
Yes, I think they probably are. 64 has already been and gone. That's the lead of the CompuWare Corvettes. Oliver Gavin taking over from Jan Magnussen, who you described putting in such rapid times towards the end of his stint. We'll try and track him down in a minute, but for now it's the 009 Aston Martin, the field leader in GT1, who screams to a halt here. Pedro Lamy it is who takes the car over from Stefan Ortelli. Stefan jumping out and running round back into the pit garage as Pedro Lamy, the Portuguese driver, gets himself installed in the car. We'll get a clean windscreen to have a look through, which is important now. The sun is still fairly low in the sky, and in some areas around here you're cresting hills and coming directly into the rays of the sunshine, which must be immensely difficult to cope with. I don't know how these guys do it.
It's bad enough in a road car at sensible speeds. These guys are driving 3 times at that. I don't know how they do it, Graham.
No, especially so, and here we are. That's an astonishingly quick turnaround. I've been talking for a long while now about the merits of the Pratt & Miller guys, but I have to tell you, on that stop, I think ProDrive were even quicker.
Now, where is that car going to rejoin? And this is where this 2 safety car thing is really a bit confusing, and will take a while for us to sort this out. The Essex car has spun at Mulsanne corner, that's the Zytek, and put off one of the Pescarolos, and I think that is Sebastian Loeb. Just going very wide, obviously plenty of gravel experience, so no problems there, kept it together. And, well, the TV director seems to think it was the other car, Emmanuel Collard. Let's just quickly take stock then. There is one of the trains of cars behind the safety car as cleanup continues here on 91.2 FM, race tuned with Evo Magazine. John Hindhaugh and the team for Radio Le Mans and Speed TV. We'll take the opportunity to take a short breath, some liquid, and be back with you in about 60 seconds.
Here's to yes, to can do. Every day you aim higher. You break new ground. You stand out. You dream and live for your dreams. You move ahead. For you who demand more, there's Deutsche Bank. We share your passion. We dig deeper. We push further. We make it happen. Far-reaching industry insights, global resources, leading-edge financial solutions. That's why the world's most demanding clients trust Deutsche Bank to perform. Deutsche Bank, a passion to perform.
Music, entertainment and race news. Radio Le Mans.
Be in pole position to enjoy lots of advantages. Join Club 24. Discounts on entry tickets, unlimited free access to the members' enclosure and a unique collection. Poster, program, list of race entries, detailed results, special photo of the winners, yearbook, DVD, CD-ROM and a superb luxury collector's set. Come into the fan club of the ACO, creator and organizer of the 24 Heures du Mans. For more information, go to the ACO stand or website lemans.org.
Email the studio@radiolemans.com.
Straight down to Graham Tyler, who is down in the Audi number 7 pit as Alan McNish changes and gets out of the safety car period, Graham.
Yeah, just getting out of the way of the Celine that made a quick stop for fuel as well. Dindo Capello now strapped in as you hear the air hammers working on the Michelin tyres. Last one done. We'll just have a quick look round, drop the car and press the button. It's turning over, but it's not firing. There we go. Now it's gone. You can barely hear it above the sound of the 62 Aston Martin turning onto pit road behind us. And out comes Ron Fellows in 63, just ahead of the leader in GT1 as the leader in GT2, 83, pulling out behind. Let's go back down to Joe Bradley.
Yeah, we speculated as to why the Team LNT Panos number 81 in the GT2 class had been taken into its garage. It was purely the team taking advantage of the safety car period and changing the brake pads on the car. This is the kind of job, the serviceable job, that takes a little bit of time, and this is the kind of time that they've been waiting for, just waiting to be able to do this serviceable problem of changing the brakes, because the brakes quite clearly wouldn't have seen at the end of the race.
And somebody else who took advantage, Alan McNish there, coming into the pits, even though he didn't have to. He was about 3 laps ahead of schedule. But
it's a free stop, though, isn't it? Depends where you get caught. They've turned him round quick enough. Did they tyre that car as well?
No, I think it was just fuel.
No,
fuel. No, they tired him.
They tired him as well. The driver change, the whole back shoot.
Yeah, they've. That's right, absolutely right. So it's Tom Christensen again, isn't it?
No, it's Dindo.
No, it's Dindo.
It's Dindo.
Dindo in the car.
Dindo.
There's another 24-hour race going on at the moment. We're keeping our eye on. It's down at the Nürburgring, the ADAC Zurich 24-hour race, and it's still the Porsche 911 GT3 of Lucas Law, Timo Bernhard, and Mike Rockenfeller, who is leading from the similar car of Jürgen Alsen, Uwe Alsen and Klaus Ludwig, along with Christian Abt first and second, and let's make it a Porsche 1, 2, 3, Mark Bessing, Patrick Simon and Timo Scheider, who are 2 laps away. There's a lap between first and second and 2 laps back for third position. If you are just joining us this morning, hello there, this is Radio Le Mans, and hello to unbelievably, hello to the guys in Atlanta. Lee Newton of Porsche Cars North America, still there and listening. And also people, Alan Disha Kenyon, sorry mate. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there, out in California. He reminds us that it is, in fact, Father's Day.
Green light.
We've got green lights, but not here.
No, on the safety car. The safety car is showing green.
So that means green next time around. He'll pull off halfway down. Now, here's where we get the confusion, as in comes the Aston Martin, comes in, the 007 car. Graham Tyler is down there watching that for us.
Yep, the 007 coming in and getting fresh rubber from the look of things, or is it just an examination? No, they are going to take the wheels off and have a look-see. They've got, in fact, brake pads going, I think, on the Aston 007. Meanwhile, behind, Mike Newton has come in to hand the 25 car. This is the Lola with the AR engine, leading the LMP2 class, the number 25 car, Ray Malek run. And this is the Lola MG, which is now going to be driven by Tommy Erdos.
Okay, starting
so
driver back in.
Complete, and completes another rotation for them. We've got the Team Taizan Advan Porsche. They're not featured heavily, but still circulating, the 93 car. And for the moment at my end, that's your lot.
I think that car is second in the category at the moment, although it just seems to have got there by stealth. The RML car having to be pushed backwards because the Aston is too close. There's not a problem there. And while we're talking about Father's Day, the Corvette guys have got Happy Father's Day on their pit board that's been hung out, which I do think is fantastic. Tommy Erdos back into the fray. And just remind you that it's Radio Le Mans 91.2 FM. Now we're about to get back underway again. Charles Dressing, Jacksonville, Florida, is still with us. Charles, you just can't, the ACO have decided, and in my view rightly so, when you're coming down to Indianapolis, you can't have people slipping and sliding on oil. We've seen in the past nightmare scenarios for people like Alan McNish coming into fast corners like the Porsche curve and suddenly coming upon oil on the circuit. So there's no real choice but to do this and neutralise the race for a little while.
I don't see how they could. If you were a spectator at Le Mans, if you're lucky enough to be on the ground. One of the things that you deserve to do for yourself is to go down there and watch those cars appear in that fast right-hander before Indianapolis. It is as though they are beamed down from some sort of space. They just appear suddenly. And to imagine any sort of viscosity measurable fluid, or even what they call viscoplaning, which is dirt on the racetrack or dust, anything the tire can slide across, in the middle of that right-hander before Indianapolis, it's just a terrifying thought.
Now, Chuck Dressing is just for a moment drowned out as Dindo Capello sees the green flag at the start finish. And it's gone eerily quiet up here on the grandstands as everybody's looking across to our right. Let's go down into the pit lane. Bill Binney's car in trouble in the garage. Graham Tyler has the man himself. Yeah, my first chance to have a word with Bill today. He's been either in the car or out of sight when I've been in the garage up till now. But Bill, it's this starter motor that's jammed on you.
Yeah, it's one of those things that happens with the temperature and the heat and the vibration, and they just go, don't they? So it's going to be a little while, but we'll be back on track. We're pretty pleased with the way. Other than that, the car's running. It's running very well.
Nice to see Yujiro Terada aboard the car as well, bit of history.
Yes, he's doing great for us. Yeah, he's putting up good times. He just did his own double, so we're really pleased and proud to have him. It's a real pleasure.
I suppose if there is a plus right now, it's that the 33 Intersport car that's behind you is also in the garage.
Well, those are my old teammates, so I wouldn't wish it on them, but it is a shame, isn't it?
Having said that, I'm told they're just leaving, so perhaps that friendship will be tested again. But that was a great result for you a couple of years ago, winning the class with the fields.
Yeah, those are great guys, and I really do. If we don't do well, I hope they do well. But we're going to be in a dogfight. Having said that, it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. There's a long, long way to go. I mean, we know AER engines don't break until hour 20, so we got a little ways to go before we see those sorts of issues. And our drivetrain's doing well, other than these niggly little starter motor and ancillary bits.
Well, let's hope this one doesn't break till hour 24 plus 1 minute, eh?
Right, absolutely. I hope not.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks.
Bill Binney there out of the number 24 Lola Zytek.
Great battle out on the circuit between the leader and one of the Pescarolo cars there.
Well, it's all three of them. It's the two Pescarolos. I mean, they could really get mean here, John, because you got the two Pescarolos, and they were sandwiching Marco Verno, and Marco decided he didn't particularly want to be the meat in that sandwich, so he's extracted himself from it, a bit like my bacon did earlier on from the sandwich it was in. But it's all right. It's rescued. It's okay. Everything's under control.
That's fine. Nice photo up there for the two Pescarolos. Hill, Justin in California says, does the diesel give the Audis more power? Not more power as such, at least that's not what they're telling us. They say about 650 brake, the way it's restricted at the moment. But Charles, what it does give us is the big T, and torque is what, Mr. Dressing?
Torque is our friend, and apparently it is our best friend if we happen to be driving a car with yellow or a red roll hood today. As I just watched, we're just watching the cars out on Mulsanne. Those Pescarolos came very close to finish with the leading number 8 car, and he just finally just powered by them going into the first chicane.
Yeah, and you can just see those cars working so very well. Michael Garner's in Florida in the US watching Speed at the moment. Says he likes the tie-up between Speed and Radio Le Mans. Not the first time we've done it, to be honest, Michael, but thank you for your comments. Your regular Speed commentators back in just under an hour's time. I'm sorry we slightly crashed through the ad break at the top of the hour. However, we were just going back to green at the time. That's just one of those things that happened. But I'm glad that you're all back with us. Plenty of people in California where it's a little later in the evening. Here's an email from Andy. He said, I've been up, I watched the test today and qualifying before the race, and I haven't slept since. Well, and so Andy, thanks very much indeed for being with us, and keep those emails coming in. Just one final one to studio@radiolemans.com, to a good friend of Radio Le Mans, the Director of Operation and Promotions at the CHRA, the Classic and Historic Racing Association, Tim Pendergast down in Florida. He says, cheers to the gang, Roller, Dawson, Graham, T, Bradders, Trussers and everybody. Good to know that you're still there listening in and watching the Speed coverage in Florida. Now, Paul, it looks like the Audi has made good its escape with Marco Werner at the wheel, although in fairness, that Pescarolo there is trying to close him down, but that's the 16 car. That's not the car that's in second place. But this potentially is the spoiler, isn't it?
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, the Pescas have been quite clever, really, because they've put their spoiler up. They've protected their main car, the number 17. The gaps, as far as these Audis are concerned, hasn't changed a huge amount. It's a 2-lap difference still between. No, wait a minute. It has gone up 3. Yes, it's a tad over 3 laps, the gap. Now, that has helped the Audi because it was just 2 3/4 laps before. So that situation has helped the Audi. And what I'm trying to work out at the same time is what's happened with the Aston Martin and the Corvette. And I think the Aston has been helped as well. What happened was, if you remember, the Corvette 64 came in right at the start of the safety car period, whereas the Aston stayed out till it caught up with the safety car, so it was going fast, and then it was able to go into the pits when everybody else was going slowly anyway. So I think that was a slightly clever move by the Aston, and possibly it was predictable what would happen to the Corvette. John?
Still watching this battle, the lead Audi with the red roll hoops, Marco Werner, Magic Marco as we call him, and Emmanuel Collard, 11th position overall in the slightly more handicapped of the Pescarolos. Now, Marco was having a big poo earlier on, shaking his fist at a Porsche driver who got in his way.
Okay.
But now he's been released. He is able to fight at a 41.0, 3:41.0 last time around.
Yeah, that's not that quick. I was wondering why it was such a slow lap, because I thought it was fairly clear, but you've just answered the question, John. It's traffic.
Absolutely. And Collard is trying to hunt him down. We'll keep our eyes on that. Would like to introduce a guest to our listeners. Ian Wagstaff will be known as a name to many of our British and European listeners, and author of some repute, I think it's fair to say, Ian. And welcome to Radio Le Mans, something that is very dear to everyone's here's heart, Le Mans in the 24 hours. And you've got a new book coming out, which is, first of all, for a good cause. It's charity, and it's for a very good charity. Secondly, it's about the Brits at Le Mans, so quite a lot of the people who are listening out here are actually featured in it.
That's right, John, including yourself, of course. And the charity is, in fact, the Motorist Benevolent Fund, Motor Industry Benevolent Fund. So as you say, great charity.
Now, how did this come about? Was it your idea, or did the charity come to you?
I have to admit, there's a guy called Gordon Crease at the charity who's a motorsport fanatic himself, and because it's the 100th anniversary event this year, he actually came to me and said, was it something I fancied doing? And I didn't take a second to answer that one.
What is there? What have you found out that makes this race, held in the centre of France, not particularly easy, even nowadays, for us Brits to get to? There's not a major airport within an hour and a half's drive or thereabouts, so you do have to drive down. What is it that's put this car so firmly in the psyche of the Brits, and particularly the English supporters?
I think you can go back to the original Bentleys, actually, because it was said when Birkin was coming second in the Pau Grand Prix, and Charles Theroux said he knew that car was okay because it was Bentley, and I have seen the Bentleys at Le Mans, and the whole British thing has started off from the very beginning. So, and just continued, hasn't it?
It truly is an amazing exodus from the south coast in the week coming up to Le Mans. Every single ferry terminal, every queue that you sit in, you go, oh yeah, that Lotus 7, that Porsche, yeah, we know where all those guys are going.
That's right, although I think there was one year when a Testarossa turned up at Portsmouth and everybody ignored it because there was a great queue of C-Type Jaguars.
You've met some of the people. The Brits at Le Mans covers people who've driven, people who've been involved in teams. But I know from talking to you that one of the biggest surprises to you was just how many stories there are from the supporters and the enthusiast point of view. In fact, there's probably a book there on its own.
Oh, that's right. I mean, there's a whole chapter on the enthusiast. I ought to have done the whole 32 chapter on the enthusiast and forgotten the drivers.
Really? Do you think it's that important?
Well, there's the guys who make it, aren't they?
People like beermountain.com and all those kind of guys.
Oh yeah, Mr. Toad's in the book with his formation team.
The Chateau de Piste Artistes are here again this year. I must mention them. I think they're 20-year veterans of their little celebrations and all these little traditions that people have in the campsites. They getting dressed up in dinner suits and serving each other food and all this sort of thing. It's terribly, terribly eccentric and English.
The tremendous tradition, though, because also Carr mentioned in the very first year Mr. Vernon Pugh and a Miss Pugh who'd actually motored down
Of course they have.
So, that's the original spectators I found, and some guy whose name I can't remember, who unfortunately sprained his leg round the back of the paddock.
Yeah, I wonder if there may have been. I think there may have been some alcohol involved in that, possibly. One of the great traditions of Le Mans, though, is the fact that the spectators have been a part of it, and virtually corporate hospitality was invented at Le Mans.
Yeah, I mean, some of these spectators I've been talking to, 35 years,
yeah,
not missing a one. I mean, it's just great that they come that sort of times.
How can we, let me just let this gaggle of cars go through. How can we get hold of the book, and what's the best way to do it? It's called The Brits at Le Mans, isn't it?
It's called The British at Le Mans,
yeah.
And I think the best way is to go along to the Radio Le Mans shop where there's leaflets and you can buy it through Radio Le Mans.
And is there some kind of website that anyone can log on to as well?
No, there actually is an MRP website, that's Motor Racing Publications, and you can discover a bit about it. It's actually coming out next month, July,
right.
So, as I say, the best thing probably to pre-order it by getting your leaflet from Radio Le Mans.
And what we will do as well is put a link on the radiolemans.com website. Ian, thanks for coming down, and thank you very much for writing this book, because it's great fun. I've seen some proofs of it, and it's great fun, and it is certainly it's a good opportunity for you to bring Le Mans and get some of your favourite drivers to sign, because there's quite a lot of them still around, of course.
That's right. In fact, Marcus Chambers, who won the 1.5 litre class in 1939, I interviewed him for it, so yeah, it's got to be still around.
Ian, thanks very much indeed, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thanks, will do.
Ian Wagstaff, The British at Le Mans is the name of the book, and certainly the motor racing charity in the UK are certainly worth supporting. A quick question on some flags. He says, this is a chap called Scott Graves, who's in the States, and he says, I don't follow sports car racing very much, but I started to watch the race and got hooked, and now I start to listen. He says, I've been seeing a lot of blue flags. What's that about, and what happened with the Ferrari with the wheel problems? The Ferrari with the wheel problems, they took a chisel to it and literally cut out the centre of the wheel, and the blue flag is to tell drivers that there is a faster car approaching. Now at the moment we've got a slow car approaching, Paul, on the pit straight.
Yes, this is the second place Taizan Porsche. This is reminiscent of about 3 or 4 years ago, isn't it, when there was a very slow car which had its bonnet, or the front cover had blown up, and the poor car has got some kind of mechanical problem which has arisen just as it's passed the pit lane exit, or pit lane entrance, so he's going to have to go all the way around, and that car is the GT2 second place man.
Now also in GT2, the Flying Lizards, Seth Nyman is down in the pit lane, and Graham Tyler will have a little word. Hello, Graham. Oh, now how bizarre is that? I've just heard Graham in my headphones, and we try to pass down to him. Graham Tyler, let's try once more.
Now?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
there we go. Okay.
There we are.
Seth, Flying Lizards, welcome back to Le Mans. You've got a podium first time out. It's been tough this year, though.
It has been tough. We had a lot of good luck last year, and it hasn't held yet this year. But there's still a lot of race to go.
I'm glad you said yes, because it's ever so easy to get despondent, isn't it?
Well, it is if you don't really deal with the fact that it's such a long race and so much can happen, and the team works together to just keep everybody focused on, for example, now another 6 hours to go. That makes it almost more than 2 of our normal races. So plenty of things can still happen.
Now, the Lizard Motorsports team is based over in the west coast of America. Was it this race in particular that prompted you to get into sports car racing, or were there other things?
Well, the Porter Player Flying Lizard team is based in Sonoma County at the Infineon Raceway. And I wouldn't say that Le Mans itself was the objective, but it's certainly this kind of racing was the inspiration.
Now, I first saw you as a team at the Daytona 24-hour race.
In 2004, yeah, that was a very exciting race. I think the closest finish in the history of Daytona. Unfortunately, we needed about 2 more laps.
One thing I've always wanted to ask you, and I never have to your face, where on earth did you come up with the Flying Lizards?
That's a deep, dark secret. There are only 2 people who know, and they are sworn to secrecy.
So if you were to share that with me, I'd probably not make it home from France.
Well, I think you probably would make it home, but I don't know exactly what would happen when you got there.
Ah, okay. We have this theory about a rock band and a song.
Well, that's one of many interesting theories I've heard.
He's not giving it up, Graham,
He's
is he?
very enigmatic, this man. He's giving away nothing.
He never will.
Seth Nyman, charming gentleman of this county. Thank you for talking to us, and good luck for the rest of the race.
Thanks a lot.
There we go.
Good
Seth
to hear
Nyman.
from it. What we do need to know, Graham, as well, last year the Lizards came out with an absolutely stunning T-shirt design, which they produced in limited numbers, which proved to me, if proof were needed, that they really got the whole Le Mans thing. It was an old Art Deco look-alike poster with the Flying Lizards car on. I have heard but not seen I've heard about but not seen this year's T-shirt, and I'm told it's equally as stunning.
I will have words with Jennifer Hart, the PR lady for the team, and see if I can't find one that may be left lying around somewhere for you.
I'm only a large now. I've lost 5 kilos.
Is that'll be a US large, so sort of small, small marquee size for the Europeans then.
Thanks, Graham.
On FM 91.2 at the circuit and campsites, on the web via radiolemon.com and across the UK on Sky Channel 0157. Radio Le Mans, the sound of La Sarthe. All the action, all the latest news from the pits and the paddock. Informed comment. There's always been and always will be just one authority on the race and just one place to listen. Radio Le Mans. You can't manage without it.
Race tune for 2006 with Evo Magazine, Hugh Chamberlain and Joe Bradley just before the break there. Welcome back if you're watching on Speed TV. Paul Trustwell is alongside me up here in the Tribune.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reflect on what happened when the safety car came out, and yes, it benefited those who were ahead rather than compromising those who were ahead. Where when you have a safety car in single-seater racing or oval racing, it tends to compromise those who are ahead by squashing up all the gaps. But what it's done is it's given you probably an extra 30 seconds on the lead of the number 8 Audi over the Pescarolo, and it's also given the number 009, the Aston Martin, an extra, probably an extra minute and a half for the Aston Martin over the Corvette, because that is, if you're watching them on the circuit, number 64 comes past you. In fact, no, he's not coming, Jesse, is he? Number 64 comes past you, and then about 10 seconds later, you get the Aston coming past you. Now, the trouble is, it's the Aston who's ahead, and the Corvette that's behind, so that you kind of unwind the whole lap. And so it works out to be about a 3.5 minute lead that the Aston now has over the Corvette, and it was a 2.5 minute lead.
In LMGT2, Graham Tyler has news that will gladden the heart of Peugeots and indeed of English supporters. Graham, sadly, though, what is good for them is at this time of the day quite often bad news for someone else.
Yeah, sadly so. This is the Team Taizan car, the number 93 Porsche, currently running second in LMGT2. It's Philip Collin, the American driver, along with the 2 Japanese. And Philip brought the car in complaining of gear selection problems, and they've been poking and prodding and turning wheels and kicking and probably swearing, for all I know. And the result is they've got nowhere with it, so they pushed it into the garage for a more comprehensive look. Now, they only had about a 40-second advantage over the next car in class, which was the remaining Panos, the number 77 car of Englishman Lawrence Tomlinson. So I'm going to head down there and see if the smiles are broken out yet.
Yeah, that car, well, you can just see by the body language of the mechanics who are working on it. It's just what they don't need at this time, as Chuck Dressing was saying. The fatigue has really set in. You've got through the night, but then you've got the whole of the morning and into the afternoon. And don't forget, this race started an hour later yesterday, so it will finish an hour later. And Tommy Erdos almost getting together with that LNT Peugeot. There's a whole gaggle of cars go under the Dunlop Bridge. The Creation Autosportive car was working its way through, and one of the Pescarolos. And Tommy Erdos rightly staying well out of all of that action. The Aston's in there as well. Sorry, that is in fact Liz Halliday on the 33 car, not Tommy Erdos. My eyes deceiving me this morning in the sunshine. The nighttime hours have gone and everyone's making mistakes. My apologies. And thank you to Jim Roller and Joe Bradley, who have both given me quizzical looks, one physically and one in my ear as we were watching that. In my defence, I do have sunglasses on at the moment to try and stop the glare, and the colour schemes are completely different, but the designs are similar.
Is that because your future's so bright? You gotta wear shades?
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Yes. Moving right along here. I'll get me coat and leave. Thanks very much for that. Liz Halliday in the Intersport team actually have not had the best of luck, but are still in there with a shout. The LMP2 category has often been, as Jim likes to say, last man standing. The Binny car just behind them there, the 24 car in the background with the very prominent Scottish Saltire on the front of it. And